Hey everybody, how you doing? I'm Pavs, a rising VTuber and an artist, and today we are going to be working on this fan art of Faust from Guilty Gear Strive that I started almost a year ago and have not touched since then. Oh my god, this one has been a long time coming. Like, it's always been in the back of my mind, just kind of like there, you know? It's always... Holy shit. I forgot that I had, like, the reference of Faust's J's. Look at how fresh these are. Where did he get all of that? You're supposed to be like some kind of shambling corpse man, brother. Why are you so fresh? Dripped the fuck. Observe those fine insoles. Holy shit. Oh, goodness. Yeah, no. Anyway, so this house sketch I've been working on for this house drawing, rather. I think I started last year, no, August of last year. And then over time I was like, oh, I'll finish it in October because it's like a spooky drawing and it'll be kind of appropriate for that season. But then I was working on, I think, issue 1 still of Hawk Starling, or I was working on issue 2 at that time, I think. By that time I would have been working on issue 2 because I remember that we had a sort of like March deadline for issue 1. I think that just kind of ended up consuming my entire existence for about half a year. Thankfully, I'm free of that now. So I'm free to do as I please regarding the good doctor. But yeah, we can go back and add a little bit of detail. I'm adding a little bit more detail to the stethoscope here. It has like a black outer rim that I didn't add earlier. There we go. Let me resize the line here a little bit. It's him, Professor Fast. That's right. It's him, Dr. Speed. There's not a lot of, like, words out there for people of educated and qualified positions, is there? I mean, like, there's professor and then there's doctor. And, like, doctor is just like attached to a specific kind of degree. I think. Wait, no, yeah, that's it. Because, like, you need a doctorate to be a doctor. When I was a kid, I was definitely one of those people that was like, why the fuck are you calling yourself a doctor if you don't actually know any medicine, you fucking fraud? My outlook has become kinder since then, but I still posit that that's not like an unreasonable reaction for like a child to have. You know, if you call yourself doctor with like your chest out, and you say this to a child, and if you like expect them to understand a doctorates have like different applications in general, I feel like you're expecting a bit much, perhaps, of that child. In my humble, his bald head bothers me so bad. I want to smack that thing. Look at how perfect and round it is. Put that thing away, sir. I like that they also just have smiley faces. I wonder what this is supposed to be, by the way. I understand that this is supposed to be like a style guide, right? His name is literally Baldhead. Cut him some slack. That just means that it's like a karmic thing rather than just a personal vendetta sort of thing. His head was this like bald and shiny for me specifically, built specifically for me to slap that thing. Anyway, let's take advantage of the style guide right here. I noticed that they have a pose slightly similar to what I have. So I'm gonna just go ahead and... Actually, I could probably swing this a different way. Let me try this. So I'm thinking that instead of redrawing the whole thing, we instead push this one a bit further. Push this one up a little bit like this. And then over here, we're gonna drag these inward. There we go. Yeah, I think that works pretty well. I think we can just patch up the rest of these. But yeah, I like that Faust had had so much inexplicable shit about him, even in his original iteration before he became a weird and messed up zombie in Strive. But it's crazy that now the question is less like why does he have access to those doors? Why is he a shambling corpse? My question is who put my man on these incredible shoes? I know I brought this up earlier, but I'm still a little bit obsessed with it. Like, was it a Ram? Did Ram put him up to this, or who was it? It's actually bothering me a little bit that I don't know who just did him so nice with those. Did he just go to the Foot Locker and buy those? I didn't know he knew how to do that. Also, I think I know what's bothering me about these lines now. It's because it's like the perspective should be from down below rather than up top. I think that's what's throwing me off. I also need a little bit of stabilization on the pen. I'm not. it feels a little bit weird to do these wide sweeping lines with zero breaks. Hmm. I wonder what this is supposed to be though. Like what? Like the first one I understand, right? Because you can actually tell that it's supposed to be saying, yeah, no, add more gap here, right? But this one, I guess it's something similar. Like, oh, like it's supposed to be baggier. I think I see now. Well then, if that's the case, might be able to work something out. Hmm. I might need to work on the sketch a little bit again. I like that you can see that this drawing has gone through a few different iterations already, right? Like I think I made this before like the Lookify tool was even a thing. Okay, so now we just flip this upside down. Not quite, but close enough. Okay, then just bring this one over here. I actually did change it up from the perspective that it was previously in before I started stream. I did make some changes to the perspective and everything. I think this is the version that I'm happiest with at the moment. Okay, hold on. That why does this remind me so much of a chicken leg? Like when I do it like this, it reminds me so much of like a chicken wing. That's mysterious. Also, I'm pretty sure I just turned the chicken wing into a two-dimensional object, which is my bad. Is it this one? Not quite. But close enough. Okay, so we're gonna go like this. So we're gonna pick the color from the layer. We're gonna grab some of the pinkish color from up here. And here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get rid of the line layer real quick. Just for a minute. Probably need to change the direction of the stethoscope, but we'll worry about that later. Okay, so this is gonna go like this, meaning that the arm here will probably droop a little bit more like... Don't know if it would make more sense for the cloth trail from this direction, meaning that he's like moving his hand this way. Oh hey Cypress, hello everyone. I'm Pabs, a racing VTuber and an artist. Today we're working on some Fanart for Faust that I started almost a year ago. How's your stream? You're doing another episode of the Pokemon Random Lock, right? Did you have fun? Yeah, no, I'm usually pretty good about not leaving works in progress on the back burner for too long. But we had 3 Pokemon die in the first 5 minutes? Jesus, who did you fight? Rocky Balboa? Did your Pokemon get put up against frickin' the pipe bomb Pokemon? Poor things. Oh, Dragon Pokemon. Yeah, that'll do it. Little guy with Dragon Rage. Oh my fucking god. Normally it's pretty funny when like a very unassuming or kind of cutesy looking character has an insanely powerful attack. Kind of like how that one Digimon has like a huge maw full of teeth, or how Donald Duck can cast Zeta Flare for some reason. That does a guaranteed 60 damage. I didn't know that. I'm not familiar with Pokemon moves, but that sounds like a lot. Also, I'm still not sure that this is the way I want the cloth to drag. Alright, so maybe it'll be more like... Do I have any more references to Faust? Just the official character render. Alright. So dangerous early on when most of your Pokemon are below 40 health max. Yeah. No, that sounds rough. Actually, hang on. Maybe I can use the official render for nothing at all. I think honestly just having it hang, letting it hang like this is the best choice. Is this one of the ones that has like a little good on it? Yeah, I think it is. Could open up the in-game diorama mode if you have some Faust models from the gacha. I haven't rolled the gacha in Guilty Gear Strive since more than a year ago, I think. Honestly, I just kept fishing for like until I got like an outfit that I could rock with, and then I was like, yeah, no, I'm done. I'm good. No more need to fish. Fishing is now unnecessary. Maybe that's something I could do, actually. Hang on. Just bring it in upwards in this direction. I think that could work. And then maybe bring this one over here. May even bring it up a little bit. God, the liquefy tool is really carrying the team right now. I'm not gonna lie. Useful beast. Okay. So kind of lots of folds inwards. All right. Yeah, okay, I think that should do. And in terms of the arm, I think both of them basically just have belt buckles going all the way up. So I'm just going to add those real quick. Okay, then over here. And then big, creepy hand. Honestly, I don't think I even need a sketch for the hand. I'm just gonna do that thing up like based on the model. I'll take care of the eye last, I think. That feels like a good decision. I am, however, going to move the stethoscope for a minute. Okay, just grab these. Oh, maybe we could even make this part of the stethoscope swing a little bit more towards the left. Or maybe I could even keep it over near the other half just for a little while. Just until I figured everything out. Me when Nomura overuses belt buckles. Me when Daisuke overuses belt buckles. Yeah. I don't know how to explain it. Nomura belt buckles, to me, felt a lot like they were like greebling, if that makes sense. Like they were just there to fill up space. They felt like inconsistent with some of the rest of the character design. However, like Daisuke, the Guilty Gear character designs are all kind of based on has so many types of rock music, and I feel like that makes the overuse of belts feel much more natural. Or maybe we'd be able to cut Nomura some more slack on the belt front if he did more fighting game designs. Belts in their natural environments. Yeah, no. If you keep putting them on anime twinks who wield giant swords to save humanity, they're not in their natural environments. They're like an invasive species when they're in there. God, I think there wasn't Sora's design loosely based on this one dude from The Bouncer, and wasn't The Bouncer literally? I think it was a beat 'em up, but I thought it was also maybe a fighting game at some point. I might be mistaken on that front. Actually, what is going on with this scalpel? Actually, trying to imagine what turbo belted Babs would look like. That'd be a tough one. There's not a whole lot of real estate on my body. You know, if I had like a turbo belted outfit, I'd be like 90% belt. I would look like, yeah, multiple on every limb. You know what I would look like with multiple belts? I would look a little bit almost like a caterpillar, or like one of those like bands you would use to like one of those like what do you call it? I don't remember what they're called. There's like this one tool that's used to stretch out wood for, what do you call it? Would look like a corset almost. Yeah, exactly, a corset of belts. That's right. Yeah, it'd be like a belt tube top. I would look very fashionable though. Is the problem? That would be the benefit to such a design, is that I would feel rather fashionable with that many belts on. You know, maybe if all of them were like Gucci belts or something, maybe I could be with it. I've seen a really oversized belt as a mini skirt. On you, it'd be a normal skirt. Consider the straps on your sandals can be belts. Nar, with one individual buckle on each strap, like this. The double barrel Birkenstock type shit. On the 1-2 buckle each strap type shit. That'll be. I think we could go further. Why stop? I have like these little like jean cuffs on my pants normally, don't I? Well, guess what? Honestly, just having me in a straitjacket would probably work as well. You know what? The top of my head is also looking a little bit lonely. Why not like? Why not something like this as well? Why not? Yeah, you gotta full commit. You gotta full send that shit. There we go. Ironically, I think this might be opposed to what the belt buckle might say. I think this might be the most constrictive outfit I could think of. God, with the belt rings too. Sure, why not? Belt says free because he's always pressing the minus button. God, that's true though. This is fashion with something to say. Actually, I actually, I could have a couple more across the chest. 1-2 bandoliers. And actually, you know what? I think I'm missing like a hip belt, a hip holster too. Let's put Rice Beast there. Rice Beast also has a belt. Yeah, I was gonna say. Rice Beast gets the Robokai belt. I don't give a fuck. There we go. My ultimate final form. I'm missing a choker too. Why not? You know what? I've did this as a bit, but this genuinely kind of goes hard. Is the problem? This is actually. Is it like? Am I crazy? Is this actually kind of cooking? This kind of rules. They do say that diamonds are only created under intense pressure. Honestly, I'm kind of killing it in this fit. Introducing my new fighting game wrestler character, a giant man whose gimmick is belts. So much belt real estate all used. He begins to take off his belt bottoms. My god, it's Fudoshi made of belts! Great. Yeah, I'm seeing Nomura's vision right here. This is like the forbidden combination if Nomura got to make a character design, a mascot character design for Guilty Gear. I've said that I don't know how often I've said this, but I feel like if any brand wants to like adopt an official mascot, they should just look to me. My adorable mug has marketable written all over it. I could be featured on Mundo mascots. You don't even know. Yeah, the Rice Beast having matching belt headbands is it's kind of carrying the vision, if I'm being honest. One, two, buckle my shoe. Three, four. I like to imagine that in this, that like with the constrictions on, I've somehow become a zoner. I don't know what kind of fighting game archetype I would normally have, but I would probably be a zoner in this state. It kills me how good this looks. Like this is good. This is really fucking good. Why does this look so good? This is too precious to destroy. I need to like save it on a separate layer. You fling the rice piece to the belt whip. Rice piece did not like the belt baby character, so now it's ready to be put on your hip. Yeah. This is one of those compromises where nobody is happy with the outcome. All right, we've dilly dallied for a while with this. We should be getting back to some proper actual art stuff. That was fun though. Thank you all very much for joining me on this adventure. That was important. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like that wasn't perhaps some of the most important 5 minutes of my life. You know, making a version of myself with so many belts. Like, right? I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you and say that that didn't feel like it was meaningful. It felt meaningful. Okay, then over here. I briefly considered having the Guilty Gear soundtrack as the background music for this one, but the problem is that kind of conflicts pretty heavily with the vibe I'm going for here. Also, the Guilty Gear soundtrack is like a maximum of. I only have like volume 1, which isn't a lot. It's like all the season 1 characters, so that's also why that's not on for today. The most tragic thing to me about Guilty Gear Strive is that I've spent so much time one time trying to lab Faust that I got so sick of his theme song and I just never want to hear it ever, which is a shame because Alone Infection is pretty good. Like I recently took another listen to it and it's quite a good song. But now me, the 500 times listener of Alone Infection. Yeah, no. The curse of having a character you love is that you'll eventually learn to hate their theme. Pav's fighting game character that plays like a completely average martial arts character, except you keep on dropping rice beads to get up the trouble, and half of the enemy's moves go over your head. That's almost kind of like what Faust is like. You know, if Faust dropped a mini Faust. God, could you imagine if Faust dropped mini Fausts almost like not even on command, but just automatically? Like they weren't tied to what's this? You could just like drop a mini Faust after a normal. That would be terrifying. That would be genuinely sick. Leffen would start playing Faust. It's like the rice spilling out of the open bag. It just happens. Yeah, I like to imagine that the rice in the bag would just spill out as a consequence of me getting the shit beat out of me. Like if it's a game with blood in it, right? The blood would instead be replaced by my rice. I don't know how many fighting games do that other than like Mortal Kombat, though. So that's a very narrow scope of applications. I would not survive in an NRS game. More accurately, an NRS game wouldn't survive me. They would not be able to handle my unbridled whimsy and joyful behaviors, I don't think. Okay, there we go. I don't think I added like a shirt thing here. I don't think that's actually there. I got confused by what this part was until I remembered that that's just all neck. I think you have the chance to outdress some MK characters if you bring your belt fashion. Their scan model ninjas can't hold up to a real gearhead. Okay, that's a robot. That's definitely a robot. But I do want to shout out real quick the name Gonna Bang Ya Mommy. That's that's quite the name. Oh yeah, I remember seeing the one that you got that time. Why do they have such aggro names? Like this one's a Yo Mama joke that's just kind of like in there, right? Baked in almost. I guess they're just fishing in for channels that allow the URLs in chat. Well, that's weird because mine doesn't. But like it fucks me up so bad because like that's like a very human name to pick. So either that means that somebody originally picked that username and now it's just been sold to a bot farm, or the bot farmer is like handpicking these usernames. Like what's the story there? Like this isn't some, I don't know, Melissa Nudes 4547 type scenario where it's just like a couple of random lewd words pasted together, clipped together with like a number, right? This is like an actual thoughtful, almost kind of naming convention. Someone's behind this. I don't know. Maybe they notice that it gets better engagement if it's like a name like that. But to be fair, if I was some schmuck that fell for bot scams, I would definitely be less wary of a username that doesn't have any numbers or anything like that in there. So I can understand it from that kind of social engineering perspective. But that seems like a lot of effort, right? Like, even if you've got a schmuck that will be fooled by a username that doesn't have like a sequence of numbers, I feel like that's only one step removed from a schmuck who would fall for a username with a sequence of numbers. Right? Like, that's what social engineering is. You just cast as wide of a net as possible and hope some idiot will bite. God. Today they put me up to this. Every year, the place that I work for does these online safety training videos, right? Because that's important, right? Like, it's important to maintain the safety of information for both your clients and the personnel in the company. And I recognize that that's important, but I always roll my eyes at the training videos because they're so over the top. Like, they're so dramatic. Like, I didn't think this would ever happen. How did this happen? And it's just so dramatic. Like, bro, relax. This is not the hunt for Red October. You're not. It's not like we're leaking the secrets of a nuclear sub. How? What the? You guys saw that, right? Like, I just used the connect vector line tool, and it just there it is. Where? What? Which? Which line? Where? Huh? Okay, that's super weird. I'm not gonna think about that. Okay, there we go. That's more normal. I'm not gonna think about the implications of like a huge black dot appearing in this canvas that I haven't worked on for a while. Oh yeah, recently I've actually the 2 millimeter hole in the world. God, Revacholians be like, I've got my whole life ahead of me. No, you don't, dude. The 2 millimeter hole in the world is coming. God, one of the most tragic things about Studio Zone getting picked apart the way it is, and just this wildly successful game being essentially the success of this game causing the very life ruining consequences that these poor devs have had to suffer for the sake of greed and money. It's crazy that none of the shit that was ever set up in Disco Elysium is ever going to see the light of day again. Like we are never fully going to know what the fuck is up with a 2 millimeter hole in the world in that game. That's gonna be lost knowledge forever and ever. Remember when there was that scene in Disco Elysium where you were trying to aggravate the 2 millimeter hole in the world, and Harry just suddenly started singing, "Ooh, I want to dance with somebody"? There is never going to be a game made like that again. Ever. Making my new game franchise with locations such as the city state of Bevashal. Imagine like Revachol, but instead of being obsessed over Real, the local currency is refreshing soda beverage. The local currency is cans of mug. One's wealth and standing in the city are determined by their finesse and knowledge of preparing soda beverages. At least Disco Elysium makes up for never getting a sequel or any additional media by having like 3 games worth of content in it. This is true. Like, the thing about Disco Elysium is that I'm actually having a very hard time finding a way to replay it because I had so many experiences in that first run, and even like in a second run where I chose completely different attributes and statistics. It was like all these kinds of. It was like so much shit and new shit I had to get through to actually play that I was like, I'm playing basically a different game. Like I'm still technically doing all the same stuff, and I'm getting the body down from the tree. I'm dicking around with the Hardy Boys, but it just feels so different. Disco Elysium makes up for it by giving you the Disco Elysium brain disease. 3 games worth of it. I do have the Disco Elysium brain disease, unfortunately. Like I'll just be sitting there one time at some point and I'll be like, this is such a volition coded moment, and I'll be like, what the fuck are you talking about, to myself? It's difficult. It's like it like cooks your brain in such a specific sort of, that thing where you like cook meat in water before you cook it, that thing. The voices live in your brain now, on top of the actual guys from the game. Yeah, no. Oh, I see what the problem is. Hang on. I just gotta move this backward over here. There we go. Like the other day, I was reading this one tweet about like what would happen. Have you guys seen that tweet about which fictional detectives or like mystery solvers would be able to intuit the mechanics of the Death Notes, and which one of them could solve the cure case? And not all of them could intuit the mechanics of the Death Note, but they could solve the case. One of them had like an entire little segment about the like how Harrier Dubois would catch Kira in the Death Note case, and I could almost like hear the voice actors for the different voices in Harry's head, just like reading out the parts of the script, and that was crazy. I don't know what kind of shit gives you that disease. I've never had that happen to me before. Okay, we can probably get rid of these lines here. You know, people used to make like character.ai or those like AI voice thingies out of things from Disco Elysium. You don't need that shit. You just need to play the game, and they live there permanently now. You can imagine anything. God, what a heartbreakingly good game. It's really funny too. Like now, Jupiter. Remember when you were playing Bloomtown and like they have the Disco Elysium esque dialogue choices with like dice rolls baked into them? Like now, that's just going to be a Disco Elysium thing to me. I don't care if another game did it earlier. Like Disco Elysium did it in the only way that I'll meaningfully remember. Like Disco Elysium is that guy to me, and will always be. Oh yeah, this okay. Angling the stethoscope's ear thingies like this is really giving it some sauce. What a beautiful thing to be your boss, baby! Ah, that's such a fascinating way to put it that I cannot argue with. Guy who sees a CRPG for the first time and has only ever played Disco Elysium, getting a lot of Disco Elysium vibes from this. I hate that I'm that guy now. Fuck. Okay, so this jacket also has another pocket, I believe, on the left hand side. I will say, I really like the brush that I'm using nowadays. I did that thing that where Clip Studio Paint figures out the brush settings from like the sensitivity that you like. There's this thing I don't remember how to do it, but you can make Clip Studio Paint kind of figure out the pen pressures that you're comfortable with and adjust it to your hand's normal movements. And I did that, and it was pretty cool for a while. But then I kept getting this issue where like my lines would be too fat in certain places. So then what I ended up doing is that I went to my brush sizes and I made it so that the output had like a minimum of like a pixel or two. Essentially, okay. So normally the curve looks like this, right? It's like a straight line, and the idea is like this is pressure and this is some pixel size of brush, or the other way around. I made it so that the line looked a little bit more like this. So it always had like a minimum amount of thickness, which is why for some of these, you can see how they don't really taper off at all. They just kind of stop. And that's still something that I want to figure out how to get by. I might use the adjust width tool for that, but I am honestly enjoying drawing a lot more like this because I know that it'll always have like that certain thickness that I want. Okay, then over here. Drawing Faust is a real treat. I've mentioned before that I actually really enjoy drawing like more things on the more grotesque side because they let me really go nuts with like their iconicism and their the kind of like shapes that I use to represent their individual parts. And Faust has like this really gnarly elbow bone, which really lets me do some fun stuff with it. Okay, this will sound like an odd question. Do we know what Faust looks like shirtless? I have like a little bit of his shirt peeking up like this. Fucked up zombie is unsurprisingly fucked up. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know how I didn't see this coming, honestly. What is Hold on, I only just now noticed this part. God, where's this in when you were getting tier listed, brother? Why did you fucking do a Soul 6P for once in your goddamn life? Also, I think I've gotten the direction of the what do you call the kind of like collar on the shirt wrong. I was gonna say it reminds me a little bit of like a hanbok, the way that the collar goes. Whole episode dedicated to trying to get Faust to go to the beach in other situations so you know what he looks like shirtless to draw him accurately. God, it's really tough when you're in a situation that no matter what you do, it just makes you look like a pervert who takes way too many steps to get to where he needs to be. That's not something you ever want to be in, right? Like I feel like asking him to take his shirt off would be easier than that. I bet you'd be able to trick him into doing it too. Just be like, "Okay, doctor, it's time for your annual physical," and he would be like, "Hmm, health important," and then he'd strip. That. Oh wait, hang on. Hold up, I'm getting an urgent message. Oh, Pearl, you are a genius. No, I'm not a pervert. I'm an art pervert. There we go. Ah, Pearl is so big brained. How could I forget the Dust Loops article? You are a genius. Okay, I see. I understand. Wait, where is this? Oh, I'm on the wrong layer. That's why. Unsurprisingly, more bells. Yeah, I didn't know the syringe holster is kind of cunty. I'm with it. I agree with this. Secretly stylish, yeah. It's kind of like a sleeve garter almost. Not a lot of people think to pull it off, but it's quite versatile. But yeah, this definitely beats having to use my imagination. Or Jupiter's idea, which was to convolutedly get him into the beach. I don't know. I feel like Faust at the beach would actually be quite funny. I feel like dead Faust would be better at grilling than living Faust. I don't know why, but I just feel like the lankier proportions to him would permit him would grant him perhaps some kind of secret knowledge for how to put it down on the grill. Feel like my guy could barbecue now. Definitely wouldn't trust Dr. Baldhead to barbecue stuff, but like, X-Art era Faust or whatnot. I feel like he could maybe be in charge of like, I don't know, the salads or something. But I feel like that like Strive Faust could definitely put it down on the grill. Okay, and I'm gonna have the syringe belt go right over here. Not gonna draw the syringe itself. That sounds like a pain. Gonna have to be real careful with how. What is that even? Is that like a seat belt or something? You know what it reminds me of a little bit? One of those super stim packs. Like if you get the character model for one of those, or not character model, like the gameplay model for one of these, it reminds me a little bit of one of these. Yeah, the leather harness and everything, especially. I never ended up using the super stim packs myself. I remember that they were super invaluable during my playthrough of Fallout 2, though, in case anybody needed to be assassinated. Okay, I see. So it'll be like over here. Super stim packs are so fucking funny. This is pure adrenaline morphine. Have more of it. Yeah. Literally, what would happen if you went like, hey, you know that neat, that like super cool theme mabob that we have, like that hypodermic needle that's full of healing chemicals that we use. Yeah, why don't we just like have a shitload more of it? So much that it actually hurts you. How about that? And some Vault Tech guy was like, "You're a fucking genius. Let's do it." And then I assume that as they were partying to celebrate their madcap success, they accidentally posed their skeletons in a funny way, and so that when they died, they could leave behind an important bit of environmental storytelling. That's what I think happened at least. Feel free to quote me on it. Okay, then over here. There we go. What's crazy is that they also had just like normal morphine in some versions of Fallout 2, and they were like, medics. Yeah, let's call it medics, maybe. Yeah. God, it's really funny. I almost never end up using chems in most of my Fallout runs. I played Fallout in my teenage years, and I was very straight edge during that time. I still am to some extent, but I was like, no chems, no, 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 no. Those sound scary. So I'd always end up with like a surplus of cash because I would just sell whatever chems I had in my inventory off to the nearest merchant. Yeah, I just use Simpex. The thing is too is that I feel like I get more mileage out of Fallout games these days by role playing, right? And I'm like, okay, Pabs the gamer would would 100% take this bottle of Mentats, this pack of Mentats right now. But would Pabs the character is this part of my journey? Then I got to Fallout 76, and they made it possible to not get addicted to chems or alcohol. And I'm like, buff me up, baby. God, this logo is so fun. Good. I wonder, like the specific like parts of the cross have any meaning, right? Like different crosses mean different things, but does this one have like a specific thing? Like I see that the symbol has been repeated on the sole of the shoe, which feels weird. I guess the main meaning is we're not going to get sued for by the Geneva Convention for this one. Okay, then I feel like now I should decrease the tallness of the bag a little bit. Decrease the tallness of the bag is the most cumbersome way I could have phrased that, but sure, let's go with that. Gotta adjust the tallness stat of the bag. Yeah, right now its tallness way too high. You know, it's not spec to the build that we're going for, unfortunately. Yeah, see, we're trying to like avoid having to fat roll, so now we're just gonna adjust the tallness of the bag. We really got to work on that tallness of the bag stat until we can successfully avoid that. Okay. I always hesitate when it comes to adding logos to clothing. Because I always have to think to myself, okay, am I actually going to draw that logo? Am I going to loosely paint it on? How are we doing this? Yeah, the folds. That as well. The folds are going to be difficult to reckon with. Okay, the okay, I need to increase the width of the of the middle bar and decrease the width of the bottom and top bars. That's why I find it useful to make vector images of whatever logos I make and then just adjust them that way. That or make them such simple logos that it doesn't matter how many folds there are, I could still do it. You can tell I've read Home. I really internalized a lot of what I read in Homestuck because I try to make sure that almost all of my characters have like some kind of symbol or logo to represent them. That was like a huge byproduct of my Homestuck brain disease. It's just like now I'm like, oh shit, everybody has to have like some kind of meaningful symbol. Yeah, the logo is a character. Yeah, exactly. Like I like my guy Roland, right? Like one of my OCs, Roland. His symbol is like this. Yeah, it is convenient. Is the thing. Like nobody. Like it's difficult, but it's definitely convenient. And you know, this is supposed to be a crescent moon and a body of water, so it's like a reflection of the moon over the water. So that's what that means. And not all of them are like that subtle or interesting, but they gotta be there. Like I just can't have them there. Can't not have them there anymore. I might figure out the rest of the logo during the painting stage. I'm gonna be real with you. Also, I'm gonna increase the brush size from 8 to maybe like 17. God, I like how meaty the lines look with this thickness. I'm gonna, actually, before I start erasing all that, I'm gonna duplicate the lines layer just in case. I'm really happy with how that forearm turned out, and if I goof this, I don't want to lose it permanently. Okay, then over here we'll have the rest of this. There we go. Excuse me, could we get some extra room up here near the top of the drawing? Thank you. If we added a couple of googly eyes to the top, if we added a couple of big old eyes up to the top of these gloves and a couple of ears, these would basically be Borzois. All right. That aside, that observation aside, God. Oh yeah, did you hear that apparently the Department of Justice is suing Photoshop, or more specifically Adobe? I think it's a good thing when they actually do their fucking jobs. Thank the heavens. God. Everyone I've ever met who has like worked with Adobe products before is like, yeah, I'd like to beat the company with hammers, but they produce like the industry standard software, so I can't really say shit. God, I hope this is some kind of time of reckoning for them. I know that it'll mostly probably end with them just not having predatory subscription cancellation practices anymore, but that's already like a decent step forward. I can't imagine that that generates a whole lot of their revenue, but honestly, I will take anything at this point. One win. I would like just one win from these fucking miscreants, and I will take it gladly. They get students to use them a bunch too, so many people just get stuck in there. Yeah, I know exactly. Like something you have like do something. My God. All right, how's that look without the model or the? Oh, it's looking pretty fine. Was there any doubt? All right. Okay, so here's my thinking, right? We go back to it just align with a little bit on just the very ends of this, right? So maybe just like the elbow, just a tiny bit, just this tiny bit of scale down width on some of the lines on the glove. Okay, and now what we're gonna do is the pole here has been bothering me, so I'm going to hit it with a little bit of a mesh transformation. Nope, that wasn't quite right. Okay, so how do we deselect which points we want to move? Oh, just like that, okay. Oh, so just also clicking on another point also makes some move like that, okay. Interesting. Alright, so we're gonna move the stick here a little to the left? Right? Not sure. Oh god, it's so wobbly right now. It's like one of those like weird pencils that it could like bend to any shape. There was like a tool like that called I think like I think it was literally called like the lesbian ruler or something like that. Like yeah, I shit you not. There is an actual tool called the lesbian rule. Look and check this out. Hang on. A lesbian rule was historically. Hang on. I'm gonna blow the text on this. I like that Wikipedia now has like a default appearance button. Okay, so a lesbian rule was historically a flexible mason's rule made of lead that could be bent to the curves of a molding. Yeah, lesbian rules were originally constructed of a pliable kind of lead found on the island of Lesbos, which is, yeah, okay, understandable. Yeah, I know. Although calling it the lesbian rule because it isn't straight would be a pretty funny move. I'm not gonna lie. Okay. Anyway, we were bending the what do you call the scalpel that he uses. Hmm. Could I not maybe just like hang on? Could I maybe not just like grab the entire hand, perchance? Maybe the arm too. Yeah, that works. I'll take that. All right. Quick swap of the references here. Okay. No, okay. He does have some stitching on the arm here as well. Guessing that that's gonna kind of go like this, or no? It would actually go be like a little taco shape. Oh, what the hell? Or no? Hang on. I was gonna say let's align it to the tricep here, but I feel like that would be inviting trouble. Not sure what kind of trouble. The iconic taco stitch. God, I had a friend of mine, right? This guy, right? He's one of the people I don't think I'll ever forget ever meeting because he was just this such unique kid. I knew him during like middle school and high school. I graduated with him, and his parents actually sent him to like a pre medical. You know how like there's like summer camp for certain vocations. You know how there's like space camp, for example. Imagine like space camp, but for people who want to be doctors in the future. And he got to go to one of those, which is pretty cool. And he told me that while he was there, one of the things that they did in that camp was that they got him to do a suture stitch on pig skin because it's actually very similar to human skin. But then I'm thinking to myself, okay, what did they do with the pig skin afterwards? Do they make chicharrones? Do they like the right answer would be to throw it out. But I'm just wondering, was there perhaps like a secondary purpose to the pigs? Like, do you think like maybe later that day, one of those students like cuffed up a bit of suture threaded like, oh, what is that out of their like hot pot meal? I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it if I knew, right? Like my whole thing would be that I would hate it if I wasn't told ahead of time that we'd be eating the pig stitches that we make. Like that would bug me if I didn't know ahead of time. But if I knew ahead of time, I'd be like, oh hell yeah. I feel like that would almost like encourage like a certain level of cleanliness, even like knowing that you were going to eat the thing that you worked on later. You know, then you definitely remember to wash your hands. Although I don't know, maybe like associating memories of eating and like being hungry with like surgical work might not be my brightest idea. That in retrospect, I feel like maybe I'm not cooking at all here. My hungry ass could never go to surgeon medical camp. That's how you get vampires. I feel like that's how you get cannibals. I feel like that's how you get cannibals. Unfortunately. Like, could you imagine, like, man, Dr. Andretti is a great surgeon, but he always gets, like, this hungry look in his eye after he's done working. Like, is it just me or is he drooling a little bit under that mask of his? I would be, I would certainly be a little bit nervous, a little bit put out if my surgeon was like, "Oh yeah, after we're finished here, I'm gonna go get a big slice of pizza, gonna get myself a nice big chicken enchilada, shredded pork, man. You know what I mean?" I'd be like, "Haha, yeah, man, sure. I'm supposed to be under anesthesia right now, by the way. I don't know why you're telling me all this. Why are you sharpening that fork and knife? I'm here to get my appendix removed. Why are you?" Like they just have like grilling tongs, and you're like, are those like standard equipment or like what's happening here exactly? Funniest outcome is that the surgeon is a cannibal, but specifically does not eat his patients, like some kind of like weird reverse Hannibal. Like the patients are the one people that are off limits for that guy. He'd be like, the Hippocratic Oath does not say unless you get the munchies, man. Come on. I'm a professional, goddammit. Yeah, no, they're a cannibal, but they understand, doctor-patient confidentiality. They're a cannibal, but like they'll spot you if your insurance won't cover it. Okay, then over here. Scale up width just over here. Do you think that the doctor takes a few nibbles from the morgue? Maybe. You know how it is these days. You got to have a side hustle. Yeah. Honestly, you would cut down on a lot of meal prep by being a cannibal working at a morgue. Everything is already iced. You've got like a good incoming supply, especially if you live in like a populated area. It's a tough economy out there. You gotta cut corners where you can. You gotta pinch pennies where you're able. And yeah, sometimes that means betraying the trust of the bereaved that think that you're taking care of their recently departed's corpse. But that's business. They understood the risk of the cannibal secretly being the one handling the body of their loved ones. Like you have a sign outside your door that says like Andretti PhD, cannibal and coroner. Like, did they think that was a joke? Like, did you think Did they think you were bluffing? Caveat emptor, motherfucker. It's not even in the fine print. We have like a big sign outside our door that says there is a strong, although not certain possibility our doctor will eat your corpse. We have these signs for a reason. They were written in blood, man. Ay. Honestly, with the way the economy is these days, you gotta be willing to tolerate one or two cannibals handling your corpse down the pipeline. You can't really. They'll be somewhere down there, right? They'll be somewhere in the pipeline. You just got to have the kind of foresight and savviness to dodge them before they appear. Okay, the bottom half of his body is fine. Okay, then over here. There we go. I think that we're good for the line work. I think we're ready to move on to the what do you call the coloring stage. That feels pretty good. I like having the hold on. Where? Oh, I was worried for a second we'd lost belt pabs or babs, as I'm going to call him. Balts? No, Balt sounds too much like Balto, and I forgot the story about that dog. But yeah, thankfully Balts was preserved. Okay. Use the millipin over here. Are we having any issues with area scaling? We're having a few issues with area scaling. Let's just leave it at 0 for the time being. You turn it back on once we're doing some of the shading and whatnot. What I can't bring myself to understand sometimes is like this kind of square thing that they do sometimes. It's quite strange. I'm guessing it's because I make it so that the lines don't. It's because I have the closed gap turned up to maximum. Maybe that might be why. Also, I do appreciate that the pants of the outfit have a slightly darker blue than the top part. That feels like one of those things that's supposed to be like a very subtle thing, but it works very effectively. Okay. Yeah, that tiny bit of contrast is very important. I feel like that's something that I need to practice myself, because whenever I find like a decent palette for a character, I'm very much loath to let that palette go. Even if it means that I don't have as many options when working with the colors later. I don't know. In my quest to be efficient, I accidentally sacrificed the aesthetics a little bit. It doesn't look bad. It just doesn't look as good as I think it could if I allowed myself more colors. Okay, then over here. Did it peek out at all from up here? A little bit. I'm starting to think that the reason that they work like that, where they have a little bit of extra color peek over, especially in even in areas where there's like a minimal line amount, is because of the filling up the vector path option that I've got here. I'm just not working with thick enough lines, but I don't think that's the problem for the most part. I'll have to do some, I don't know how to really fix it. I would say that I would do some further research on it, but I wouldn't really know where to start. I guess I'd have to try a bunch of different things, but even then, that'd be just like figuring out, okay, what does work and what doesn't. Wouldn't really be fixing the problem, really. I think I've realized just now that I also got the way that the stethoscope and the okay. I think I realize now why the hang on, huh? I really should have flipped it before this. I think. Hang on, let me just try something real quick. Let me hang on. Edit canvas properties. Okay, I need to like edit canvas size. Where do I do that? Change canvas size. Here we go. I'm gonna make my guy just a tiny bit wider. I think originally the piece was supposed to be in this direction, and I accidentally changed it so that it isn't that way anymore. But that's fine. Listen, I just got the stethoscope on the wrong side. I'm sure it'll be fine. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me at all. It bothers me. It bothers me quite a bit, actually. But I have to. But we have to go through it. We have to post through it. Post through the pain. It's fine. I'm a grown man. I can't be letting myself get mogged by the direction of a stethoscope. I'm better than this. Probably. I'm probably better than this. I might not be better than this, which is the main problem. I might be exactly as good as this. Okay, then over here. Okay, then wait, is the inside of the stethoscope also? No, it's got a black dot in the middle. Okay. And the stethoscope itself, it's got the kind of leathery color here. I don't know what it looks like leather, I guess. Okay, the brightness of the metal on the stethoscope is bothering me, so I'm going to change it to the brightness of the scalpel's outer grip. That's much better. Okay, anything else that we might be missing? I think the rest of it is all just contours and folds. No, wait, that's a metal buckle. What color are the buckles? Okay, they're just a normal metallic color. I'm gonna make them the same color as the scalpel's outer edge. Okay, for these ones, I'm going to give them black tags, and then okay, they also have white tags at the end. Let's make that the same color as the gloves. All right, then after that, let's start working on the colors around the skin. So that's going to be... All right, first I'm going to need to go back to the line and layer and add the lines for the skin and graft. Those are going to start around... I'm going to say here. And then we can just make the little grapas along the side. There we go. Wait, okay, the graft clips are like gold though. That's kind of crazy work if you think about it. Imagine, you know how like some people have grills made out of gold? Imagine you went to the doctor and the doctor's like, "All right, listen, I'm sorry, but there is just absolutely no way you're gonna get through this without a skin graft. All right, man. Like you're gonna need a skin graft, and you're gonna need like a significant amount of possibly permanent sutures." And you're like, "All right, doctor, I'm gonna stop you right there. Can we get the sutures gold plated? Excuse me." Gold plated. Like, can I bling them out a little bit? I suppose that wouldn't be impossible to arrange, but say no more. I'm in. What do you mean you're in? This is a necessary surgery to save your. I said I'm in, doctor. You don't need to sweet talk me into it. God. That is a pretty baller move. Making sure that you're some people have gold fillings because that they just need that to survive. Having gold sutures, like gold permanent sutures on your body, would be like one step beyond that. That's like you're officially on some decadent Nero type shit. You're on some Caligula of Rome type shit if you go for the gold plated sutures. Right, it's not quite gold. There we go. That looks more goldish. Yeah, exactly. Next level. You're thinking ahead of the pack. You have all these schlubs running around. They're saying like, "Oh yeah, I'm like an actual cyborg. I'm a transhumanist." I have like a 5 terabyte storage thing inside my leg, and you'll be like, "That's nice, nerd." But do you have gold plated sutures, and you're gonna flex, and like it's gonna feel so painful because like they're not made out of a flexible material, and you fail to account for that in your quest to be shiny. I guess you could just think of it as being like gold thread, which would actually probably be much more practical and less painful than, actual gold plate. But I choose to believe that that would be a more kind of boring option. Like I feel like you're not thinking broadly enough if you completely eliminate gold plating from your potential healthcare opportunities. Yeah, exactly. It's about the aesthetic. You understand. Like, it's about the aesthetic at this point. You don't need to think about the practicality of it. You're not in this for practicality. If you were in this for practicality, you wouldn't even be in a situation where you would need gold-plated sutures in the first place. You do this for the love of the game. And that's what some few people understand. Okay. And over here. I could probably use the shirt color for... no, that feels like a bad idea. I was going to say I might be able to use the shirt color for the little ribbons on the pants, but I'm actually just going to use a lighter color of blue. There we go. Alright, so here's what we're going to do. Before we jump into the shading stage, I'm going to use a few gradient maps to see if I kind of like what I'm going for here. You know, we might cycle through a few Faust palettes real quick. This one is kind of awesome. This one's really doing it for me. Let's keep shopping though. I just kind of want to see all the different pretty colors. Yeah, shockingly enough, your reward for getting through the flat stage isn't the it isn't just like the love of the game or just like getting through it. The actual reward is now you can play around with the color palette of your drawing. None of these are really jumping out at me though. What all true warriors strive for. True. This is kind of nice with it. The cool thing about Faust is that he has so many different values on his character that it's kind of easy to just be like, yeah, okay. His takes to like palette changes like this very easily. I'm really liking this one. Mm. This one's also real nice with it. This reminds me a lot of the Hulk. What else I got in here? Hmm. This one's kind of nice. This one's interesting because it practically blacks out the eye. Yeah, literally, we're picking color alts here. Hmm. I think out of all of them, this one's my favorite. It looks very corpse-ish. Hmm. Okay. Well, let's approach it like this. Okay, from here we can start adding the shadows. I kind of want to do something where I do like proper shading, my ordinary style of shading, but also I want to dabble a little bit in using hatching or those hatching patterns that CSP comes with a little bit. I feel like those would be fun to work with for this one. They fit very well. Okay, and even darker in here, I guess. We can probably get rid of these two lines right here. They're not really adding much to the whole equation. Okay, then over here. Okay, I have an idea for how to do this. All right, let's use the lasso tool. And maybe this will work. I'm going to try and use the gradient tool here. See if that works. I feel like this will work pretty well, actually. And what we could have is a couple of lines here showing where the actual shadows are coming in. I think this is working pretty well. Let's see how far we can take it. Actually, what might look a little bit more exciting is if we did a gradient here, then another gradient right here. Yeah, that's looking pretty nice. Okay, then just over here. Why? Oh, we gotta like refer only to editing layer. I see. Okay, now if we do this, and then maybe up here just erase that. Okay, yeah, that looks pretty good. Might use a darker shadow right here. Actually. It reminds me a little bit of that Dusk Noir Pokemon. With the red eye and everything. I'm probably not the first person to make that, what do you call, parallel, but that's, I'm fine. I'm okay with that. Okay. Yeah, I think that this method of having the the gradient and having it be supported by the shadows from more conventional cell shading is the most powerful method we could use. Hmm. Not quite. I think maybe if we use a longer gradient, we might be able to clutch this. Like as it is, it has too stark of a difference. I think having it, yeah, like that might be a little bit better. Okay, then over here. Okay, so what we're going to do for this part here is that we're going to grab some kind of hatching method. Maybe halftone, actually. And just add that here. Oh, that looks really good there. With a halftone, that looks really nice. All right, let's keep going. Let's save our work real quick, and we'll keep going. Okay, so from there... Yeah, having this kind of sickly green color palette really suits him well, I think. Although now the weird off-color skin that he has grafted on is kind of like this strange grayish color, so I might need to introduce some color back into it. I don't remember if Faust Before Strive had that as well. Okay, then over here. Okay. Also, I feel like because of the way that I've lit up the bag, right? I almost need to have like the light coming in from below as well to some extent. Maybe I should work on that a little bit. Okay, also I can probably bump the area scaling up to 1 now, just so I don't have to keep double tapping the paint bucket tool. Okay. There we go. This feels like it's really coming together pretty well. I have confidence in it. Okay, then over here. That's looking pretty cool, honestly. Thank you. Okay, then over here, this is going like that. I'm honestly having a lot of fun shading like this. I don't know. I feel like it really is the pen that makes a difference. Like just being able to have it behave in a way that I like and don't have to constantly go back and correct. Real game changer. I think now getting back more into like more diverse stuff, in terms of drawing instead of just working on the comic 24/7. I think it really just has put a lot of the fun back into drawing for me. It's never unenjoyable, but the magic was kind of flagging there for a second. I was kind of worried. I was worried I'd have to go through a whole Kiki's delivery service type arc during my 2 week break. I'm allergic to cats, so that was kind of right off the table. Now I know what you're thinking, but Pabs, if you're allergic to cats, then how come Rice Piece is okay? Well, you see, Rice Piece is kind of a mongrel, and we're not really sure what it is. But it's definitely not a cat. I don't know what Rice Piece is. It might be, I don't know. A long time ago, I asked the Earth what I asked the Sun what Rice Piece deal is. Rice Piece is like this thing. It's like an Amogus. I see. That would be more concrete than the answer I got from the Sun. The Sun said that something about like how I was the delegate of the Sun, Rice Piece was the delegate of uh, something, bugs or something. I don't know. The Rice Piece is also is apparently kind of a big shot itself, but I don't know. It acts like a cat. I mean, snapping right over there. Rice Piece is a beast. It's in the name. This is true. Okay, see, now that's too thick. How goes a 10-month-old file? Quite well, actually. We're not. I'm not 100% confident that we're going to be on track to finish it tonight, but we're making some good progress. I'm thinking maybe another session, and we'll definitely have it in the bag. Hey, how are you? How are you, Ninja? Are you having a good evening? Are you enjoying your time? It is warm. It sure is, isn't it? I think this is the first week where I live where it's actually felt like summer. Which is crazy because it only feels like summer for approximately 2 months out of the year. Which I'm sure is cool for some people, but I would actually like it to be warmer for a little longer. Walked home from work, going to fix truck, hopefully in a few moments. Nice. I hope the repairs go well. 105 outside. It's 5 p.m. Whew. Well, the good news is that it's only going to get cooler after 5 p.m. But geez, I hope it cools down for you. It's pretty tough to work on stuff outside your house when it's that balmy. I mean, I don't know. Balmy implies like humidity. I feel like that is probably also present to some extent, but I can't say for sure. Nope, 7% humidity. All right, so that's actually kind of cool. That's useful, right? Yeah, shade works. Got it. I recently learned about the wet bulb threshold, and it's like terrifying to me. Like I'm not in particular danger of it, but it's super fucked up that it can just be so wet outside that you die. If you've never heard about the wet bulb threshold, essentially the way your body handles heat is that it evaporates water, right? And that accumulates on your skin as sweat. Now, the more humid it is, the more that sweat accumulates because there's already so much water in the air that it's saturated. So if you ever reach a threshold where it's so hot that your sweat just doesn't, it's so humid and hot enough that you sweat like a pig but it can't evaporate, you actually stop being able to cool your body down and you die. So yeah, a little bit terrifying. They never warned me about that shit when I was growing up. I guess my home country wasn't really in danger of it, but it's crazy that that's like a thing. Like logically, it's a thing, but you know what I mean. It's like it's fucked up that that's a thing that exists. Okay, then over here, I also want to have this, but then I also wanted to have halftone eraser. Oh, hmm. Okay, this is not working. Ooh, but this triple line stipple might. Oh, this is gonna make my life so much easier. Check this out. That's basically what I was doing on the neck, but this is automatic. That being said, I'm gonna need to put in my A game. I think I'm gonna. I don't know. The halftone dots look nice, but I'm not fully with it. I'm not sold. It's like Shark Tank. You have to. I'm either in or I'm out. Okay, then over here. Maybe what I can do now is actually use the same thing, but with the other color. So then it's like this. Yeah, okay, that's working actually. Well, I feel like that just means I should make this other part completely dark like this. I feel like that makes sense, actually. Let's go with that. And then maybe even a darker green? I don't think the greens can get much darker. I'm trying to think of a pun I reminded myself of. I'm in the house like carpet. God. A truly legendary song. The bar's so bad that it invented like a term phrase. God. Real song. Why though? Yeah. It's called something like Burning Men's Soul as well. Like there's just so many question marks attached to the origin of that phrase that I feel like you couldn't really get through them in a succinct fashion. Like, okay, we have this game Persona 3. Okay, it's got music from rappers and such because it's got a very modern sort of I feel to it, right? Like you like kids, the what's in these days is hip hop music. So we got to get a few rappers in here. One of them cooks the worst bars you've ever heard of in your life. Horrible cadence, zero tonal similarities, zero connection to the theme. Yeah, I haven't played Persona 3, but I don't think there's any context that makes that song make sense. Mm-mm. Also, I'm pretty sure it's from Trinity Soul, which is like a prequel or some shit. I don't know. That song's origins are a mystery to me. Okay, then over here, that's just gonna come in like this. I could really fuck up a slice of cake right now. I don't know. I'm not usually a cake guy. I don't go out of my way to be like, oh, maybe I'll go eat some cake today. But sometimes I do get like just a cake craving, and I'm like, I should eat, like a slice of cheesecake or something. I don't know. I have like a cake themed snack attack. I think I have some brownie mix in my cupboard, but it's a little bit late to get started on those. Cravings are good for you. I've never heard it phrased that way, but I suppose they are, huh? It means your body still desires things, which is, I think, a good sign that you're alive. If you stop desiring things, I think that's either a pretty good sign you've attained nirvana, or you have, you're kind of in need to go into the shop for repair, so to speak. My opinion is, if your body wants something, you probably need it somehow. I mean, I am kind of hungry. Like if you crave pretzels, you probably need some salt. That makes sense. Yeah. It's weird as well sometimes because sometimes your body will give you like actually very specific cravings. Like sometimes I will just get a craving right out of the blue that's like, if you don't eat a salad within the next 8 hours, you are going to have an awful fucking evening. And I'll be like, all right, I'll find some fucking spinach or something. Calm down. Yeah, the other day when I was on my way home from going to the Asian goods store to get the laoganma for the Sunday treat I promised said I'd make, I saw another place that said that like they had fresh vegetables in stock. So I kind of want to see if I can hit them up because they're pretty close to where I live, and having that in as an option would be pretty great. Yeah, daily bonus to this meal. That's a good way of phrasing it. Come on. There we go. Let's add some of that here as well. Okay. I feel like the shirt would be the next logical choice, but I want to leave that one off till later. Cool down. I'm gonna go and try and fix the truck. All right. Good luck on your repairs. I hope they go swimmingly. Fixing trucks is so cool. Just having any knowledge for how to repair things in general is an awesome thing to have, I think. Like it's just nice that you're able to look at something and be like, yeah, okay, I can see how this is put together. Okay, then over here, this is gonna go in like this. I think what I might need to do here is to have some kind of sparkle or some kind of, yeah, maybe this running color spray. Particle density up, particle size down, and just have this be with like a more diluted color. Particle size needs to be even smaller, I think. Yeah, there we go. Just kind of like adding some kind of like sandpaper-ish texture to it. It's like a little bit of noise. Although maybe I should hold off on doing all that until I figure out exactly how we're doing the scalpel. I don't having it have like the normal super shiny metal texture shading that I give to metal objects normally feels wrong. Excuse me, I couldn't hit the mute button fast enough. Anyway, it feels wrong to give it the normal kind of chromy, shiny metallic shading that I give most objects because it feels like that would be the wrong texture for it. So maybe there's something I can add. Maybe just a simple gradient might be sufficient. Who knows? It's getting there. Let's try this. Gradient down below and a gradient from up above. How's that? And maybe if I double gradient power, yeah. Okay, maybe if I have something like this and just have it very low opacity and maybe even like with one of these blending modes on it. I think that'll help. Of course, I also need to be mindful of how of cascading that kind of to the back edge. I'm using the hang on. There we go. This should help. The one issue with using gradients as shading is that then it becomes quite difficult, quite a challenge really, to use any other kind of shading method on there, unless you're willing to dick around with a wand tool. Like here, for example. Hang on, select color gamut, this one here. There we go. So what I'm planning to do here is I'm just going to add, similar to how we have for the main part, we're just going to add a few strokes to make it darker. Just like that. Okay. Now, I'm gonna do some stuff for the kind of bladed edge of it. I think for this one we can probably get away with actually using the normal metallic shading style that I have, which is to add a couple of lines of darkness and then just a little bit, just a tiny bit, a little bit of light. Blur out the edge here. There we go. And maybe just a tiny bit for the top here. Perfect. Okay, now I'm going to save my work, but let's see what we can do for. It feels like a bad idea to leave the shirts for last, but that seems like the way that we're going to be taking. All right, so that's going to go like this. So obviously we need a shadow for the scalpel on this glove. Okay, this is going to come in like this. All right, then over here. Okay. No, that doesn't seem quite right. Let's work on shading the top of the thumb. Maybe that'll lead to better prospects. Yeah, okay, that was the trick to it. Also, there's a little bit of the white color sticking out here, and that's bugging the crap out of me. Just need to go back real quick to the flats layer and fix that. Okay, then over here. Same deal. Shade the top of the finger. I think that that's going to be the key to figuring this puppy out. Okay, then it's going to come in like this. Okay. Yeah, I like the entire finger there being shaded. Should probably also do something similar back here. Except maybe this one is going to have a little bit of a gap right here in the shadow. Okay, yeah, that works. Okay, save the work. Now for this glove. Okay, so we're going to go back to using the... Okay, so there's just two stipple lines. What's triple line stippled? Okay, so this one just has little random gaps in the... okay, no, that... Okay, so I think maybe using just an ordinary triple line might be better. Okay. Okay, then over here. You know, just a few stretch marks here and there for the glove. Okay, and then here we go. Okay. Yeah, I feel like I have never really used a stipple pen before this, so having it this like 3-line pen, so having it be like this handy in its first outing, really showing off what it can do. I don't know. I feel like I've just gotten myself a new toy. That being said, I shouldn't rely too much on it. Or maybe I should. Let's work out where the more solid blocks of shadow would be first. Like, for example, on the tops of these fingers. Okay, then over here. I think something cool to do here would be to actually use the stipple pen for the highlights that would hit the finger. Can we like use the opacity a little bit? Okay, that looks pretty nice. Let's make sure to turn up the opacity back to max just so we don't forget that. But yeah, this has become a very powerful tool in a very short amount of time. I'm with it. I enjoy it. Okay, then back here. Actually, I think I might have beefed it here with this particular one. Love when you figure out how to use anything and it's like, oh, this is great actually, right? Listen, some situations are very much like, oh my god, I'm never gonna understand this, and then suddenly it just clicks one day. But sometimes it's like just you go in there and you're like, guys, how do I play? And it's like 1 kill, 2 kill, 3 kill, 5 kill, multi kill. Never mind, I think I got it. It's exactly like this. Yeah, that image is very powerful because like sometimes you'll want to be the guy that figures out the game on like their first try, but it's very humbling to know that that's not going to be you every time. Although I can't imagine what kind of situation they would have been in where they could have like taken that picture in the first place. That looked to be like a MOBA game, and those aren't particularly intuitive, I would say. Okay, then over here. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I can't forget the shadow that the other fingers would cast as well. Sometimes possibly on themselves. Hmm. Why does it feel right that this one should be more shaded? Why is that? Not like entirely, but oh wait, I think I see it. Okay, yeah. Okay. No, that doesn't seem quite right. This one seems to be more on the money though. Okay. We can use the eraser stipple real quick. Okay. There we go. No, that doesn't feel quite right. All right, now maybe we can work on the inside part of the shades. Okay. All right, I think that should be good for this glove. Let's just bump the opacity back in, and we can add a little bit more hatching to this glove. But that's more or less it for that glove. Now we can move on to the shirt, and I think then it's just a stethoscope and the pants, and we should be fine. This shouldn't prove to be too onerous, though. I might need to be kind of careful with the shading, though. I don't want it to look too dark right away. Okay. And over here. What we might be able to do then is right here just... Yeah, just a little bit of stippling here and there to shake things up. Okay, here's a good place to use the stippling brush. Okay. This is going to come up like this. No, that's not quite right. I'll try it like this, just to see if it makes sense. Not really. Okay, we'll leave that part alone then. Also, I'm gonna need to do the heart logo and everything, all those details in another layer, and then use that as a blending layer. Okay. Okay, we're gonna add a line here. That's just gonna go all the way up with this part. I probably don't need to have this gap here, but it looks more natural if I don't remove it, so let's keep it for the time being. What we can do is maybe hit it with the triple line hatching tool. Yeah, that works. I'll be able to do a little bit of the triple line over here as well. Gonna need to remember to make the triple line a little bit smaller as well, since now we're working with the stuff that isn't like super close up. Can I remove these two? Is that gonna like affect the structure of it in a major way? I don't think so. Okay. What the hell did I just do? Am I working on the right layer? Oh, thank God. I got really scared for a second because I saw I was suddenly on the flats layer. No, I'm fine. I'm fine. Phew! Scared the crap out of me. Okay, this will rise up like this. But then how do we... Could we just like... Okay, yeah, that kind of works. We might we might benefit from having the stipple eraser around here, though. Okay, then this is gonna pop up like this. I think I might leave it here for today. don't think we're going to be able to finish it before the end of the night, so I think this might be a good stopping point. But we have done some good progress on this. I think tomorrow we're going to finish it off properly. Is anybody streaming today? Nah, I'm going to end it here. All right, thank you all for accompanying me today. I had a lot of fun. I hope you did as well. I'll be back tomorrow with probably the remainder of this. I'm hoping to close it out. It's going to feel good getting it out of my WIPs folder after so long. All right. Thank you very much for coming by. Thanks again to Cypress for the raid, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye.